Well, to close out the first half, Legends Division tag action, and I'm talking classic Legends Division tag action, as Sting and the Ultimate Warrior join forces as the Blade Runners, set to face Tito Santana and the model Rick Martel, the Strike Force.
This next Legends Division Tag Team match is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Approaching the ring at a combined weight of 577 pounds, the team of Sting and the Ultimate Warrior. Together they are the Blade Runners.
Okay, so this is pretty awesome.
Yes.
Two Legends tag teams we don't get to see all the time, right?
Right.
But with wrestlers we do see pretty often. And they're both excellent tag teams with great chemistry. And I'm leaning towards Sting and Ultimate Warrior, based on just the power dynamic alone.
Which makes sense.
Martel and Santana are a kick-ass team with the technical skills. But Warrior and Stinger are just straight beasts.
Indeed, we do not see the team of the Blade Runners, Sting and the Ultimate Warrior in tandem very often, but tonight it's going to happen right here on Rage, and they'll be facing Tito Santana and Rick the Model Martel, also known as Strike Force, when they work together.
We kind of booked a legend heavy card this week. I don't know, I just like it.
Their opponents, at a combined weight 465 pounds, the model, Rick Martel, and his partner, Tito Santana. Together, they are Strike Force.
Tito Santana, the former Mid-South champion before Billy White Moon came along, and Rick Martel, well, he did not look very fashionable in his last appearance at Snarl, but here they are, Strike Force back together again, facing the team of the Blade Runners back together again. Definitely a Legends Division Tag Team match worth watching. What a tag team match to close out the first hour. It's going to be Stinger and Rick the Model Martel. Starting things off as Walt Rothburn sounds the bell. They come center ring. Martel with a back body drop on the Stinger. Martel immediately going to work on a down Sting. Twist in the head. Martel rounds him up again. Sting shoves him down with some degree of force. Stinger rounds him up. Martel quickly counters with a shot to the midsection, an elbow to the face from Stinger. Martel with a series of kicks to the leg. Sting puts on the brakes, delivers another knee. Martel whip to the opposing team's corner, quickly countering and finding his way out. Sting, the first to keep him there. The Ultimate Warrior brought in on the tag. Here's a double team from the Blade Runners. Look at this, all the way up. Oh! An inverted atomic drop and a running kick to the face as the Ultimate Warrior takes control for his team. Rick Martel caught on a single leg crab. Referee Walt Rothburn backing away as Martel escapes the hold. Clubbing overhand right from Rick Martel. The Ultimate Warrior slams his head down to the mat. Rick Martel makes his way to his team's corner. Here comes Tito Santana on the tag. Santana countered by the Ultimate Warrior. A clothesline forces him back into his own corner. Quickly back up, swings and misses. with the clothesline. Ultimate Warrior trying for the bear hug. Santana finds his way out, gets a hold of Ultimate Warrior. Head first into the turnbuckle goes the Ultimate Warrior over and over again. Tito Santana relentlessly attacking the Ultimate Warrior's head. Stinger watching as Ultimate Warriors whip to the opposing team's corner. Rick Martel brought in on the tag. Martel with an air-assisted crossbody. Stinger desperately trying. Here he is. He got the tag. He's been waiting for it. Oh, clothesline from Martel takes him down. Sting catching another shot from Martel. Whip to the opposing team's corner. Counters with an elbow. Martel quickly puts on the brakes, takes him down to the canvas. Back into a single leg crab. Strikeforce also an extremely consistent tag team. The Blade Runners a bit more erratic, given the individual styles of both Sting and the Ultimate Warrior. Stinger drives a knee into the leg of Rick Martel. Martel counters with a kick to the midsection. Gets a hold of the Stinger. Whips him to Strikeforce's corner. Here comes Tito Santana on the tag. And here comes the double team. Stinger whip to the ropes. Back body drop as Tito Santana takes over for Strikeforce. Santana with a forearm to Sting. Whips him to the far corner. Sting counters, finds his way out really quickly. Santana whip to the opposing team's corner. Counters with a kick, finds his way out. Gets a hold of the Stinger. Counter whips him to his team's corner. Stinger quickly dodging out of the way. Gets a hold of Santana. Santana preferring not to go back to the opposing team's corner. Backs off Stinger with elbows. Gets a hold of Stinger. Hard shot to the ribs from Sting. Sting with a shot right to the head of Tito Santana. Santana finding his way out of the corner again. Gets a hold of Stinger. Whips him to the corner. Clothesline. Down goes Sting. Sting quickly back up. Santana gets him right back. Whips him right back into the corner again. Another clothesline. And Stinger now trying to find his way out of town, but it's no use. Tito Santana right there snaps the leg of Stinger. Santana with a leg drop. Rounds Sting up to a standing position. There's a flying elbow from Tito Santana with the kip up. Santana with a chop across the chest of Sting. Whips him to the corner. Another clothesline to Stinger. Stinger desperately trying to find his way to his corner. Not even sure where he is at this point. Tito Santana rounds him up again. I don't believe it. Right back into the corner again. Is it going to be no? Oh, it's even worse than a clothesline. Tito Santana putting the boots to Stinger. Rick Martel taking his turn. And indeed, the boot party has begun with Sting as the guest of dishonor. And here comes the coup de grace. The drop kick, and out of the corner goes Stinger. Martel covers, puts the leg. But Ultimate Warrior right there. Tito Santana showing Ultimate Warrior the outside. Rick Martel doing a little bit of showboating here, and they love him here in Calgary. Rick Martel gathers up Stinger. Stinger counters with a back body drop and a stomp to the leg of Rick Martel. Martel countering with a jawbreaker. Tries for the clothesline. Sting puts on the brakes, takes him down hard. The Stinger with a lot of fans here in Calgary too. There's a clothesline. A second. Martel catches a third clothesline from Stinger. Winds up on the wrong side of the tracks again. Ultimate Warrior makes his way in. Look at this. Here's an awesome double team. Ultimate Warrior whipped into the clothesline on Rick Martel. Martel counters, gets back up on his feet. Ultimate Warrior pitches him halfway across town. Martel trying to find his way to his corner, but it's no use. The Ultimate Warrior right. Oh, here we go. Military press slam from the Ultimate Warrior. Martel gouging the eyes. Warrior with a running kick. Blinded yet. Ultimate Warrior rounds up Rick Martel. Has him up in the front cradle. Fall away slam for Rick Martel, the Ultimate Warrior. and Stinger. When you put the Blade Runners together, you don't know what's going to happen. Martel counters quickly. Back up on his feet, gets a hold of the Ultimate Warrior. Hard whip to the opposing team's corner for the Warrior. Warrior counters with a hard shot to Martel. Another. Martel backed up halfway across the ring, up over the shoulders. And oh man, this is not going to be good. Ultimate Warrior. Military press to Rick Martel. Martel gets a hold of him, whips him to his team's corner. Ultimate Warrior says thanks, no. Dude, did you see that? A quick jab takes out Tito Santana as well. Martel escaping the opposing team's corner, gets the Warrior back to his. Oh, Ultimate Warrior saying no. Looks like nobody's going to anyone else's corner. Better settle this in the middle of the ring. Martel hangs the Ultimate Warrior up off the top rope, tags in Tito Santana. And Santana picking up exactly where Martel left off, but catches a back body drop from the Ultimate Warrior. Warrior pitches Santana to his team's corner. Santana with the quick Olay out of the corner. Snap mare to the Warrior. Warrior quickly back up. And who? Back Santana up in a hurry. The Warrior's got him up. Santana counters. Inverted DDT. Slamming the head of the Ultimate Warrior into the canvas. Followed up with a flip over neck whip from Tito Santana. Santana rounds up the Warrior. Beautiful suplex pin, one. And only just a one. Ultimate Warrior rounded back up by Tito Santana. Puts on the brakes on Santana. Counters with a kick. Has Santana up over the shoulder. Quick little power slam there from the Ultimate Warrior. And he has raised the ire of the Ultimate Warrior. And now he's getting pummeled. Tito Santana counters with a jawbreaker, backs the Warrior off, misses with the clothesline, catches a kick to the midsection. Oh! The Ultimate Warrior suddenly finding himself hung up on the middle rope. Tito Santana driving the weight of the knee into the back of the Ultimate Warrior. Warrior rounds him up. Another fall-away slam from the Ultimate Warrior. Now beating the head of Tito Santana against the canvas. All patience exhausted for the Ultimate Warrior, and he didn't have much to begin with. Oh! A cross-body slam across the back. Oh! An attempt at a cover, but Santana must have kicked his way out. The Ultimate Warrior summoning whatever powers may be as he rounds up Tito Santana. There's the clothesline. And help goes Tito Santana. The military press drop, the rebound off the ropes, and a crossbody across the back. Big splash from the Ultimate Warrior. Follows Santana out to the outside. An arm drag. A knee to the head of Tito Santana. As the referee begins to count, Rick Martel debating whether or not he's going to get involved. Ultimate Warrior rolled back into the ring by Santana. Warrior gets whipped to the opposing team's corner. There's a clothesline. Down he goes. Tito Santana rallying some support from the fans here as he gathers up the Ultimate Warrior and once more whips him into his team's corner. The Ultimate Warrior up on the top turnbuckle. Tito Santana gonna take him for a long ride. A top rope superplex. 10 feet up and 10 feet down. And the Ultimate Warrior has crashed hard. Santana, whoa! The Ultimate Warrior coming right back with a fireman's carry and starts opening. Oh, a kick right in the keister to Tito Santana. The Ultimate Warrior seems to be doing just fine, despite a top rope superplex from Tito Santana. Driven into the apron, and down to the floor he goes as Walt Rothburn continues to count. The Ultimate Warrior rolled inside the ring by Tito Santana. Back up on his feet. Santana into a dragon sleeper from Ultimate Warrior. Santana with the right gets it. Whoa! Warrior shoves him down. Gets a hold of Santana again. Has him by the trunks. Vertical suplex from the Ultimate Warrior. Santana gathered up again. Warrior whips him to the far right corner. Santana dodges out of the way. Element Warrior tags him with a right and a close line. That's whoa. Should have put his head in the 10th row. Tito Santana with the Element Warrior right where he wants him. In the corner. Debating whether or not he's going to tag Rick Martel. Too late. Element Warrior finds his way out. Santana puts him right back in there again. Element Warrior in some trouble here. Tito Santana tags in Rick Martel ultimately. And here's another assisted crossbody as Rick Martel takes over. Warrior with a shoulder tackle. Drops Martel to the canvas, rounds him up again. Martel counters with a kick to the leg. Gets a hold of the Element Warrior. Has him all the way up. Vertical suplex from Rick Martel. And this one's gone back and forth quite a bit. Here's a cover and an illegal pin right there, but Sting breaking that one up by Rick Martel's legs. Martel, a little frustrated that the gimmick did not work, takes himself back inside. Element Warrior rounded up. Look at this. Martel quickly taken down. A couple of good stomps from Element Warrior. Warrior rounds up Martel. Hard whip to the corner. Boom. Clothesline. And down he went. Rick Martel counters the Element Warrior. Gets a hold of him. Whips him to his team's corner. Warrior gets himself out of the corner. As Rick Martel up, Martel counters into another inverted DDT for the Element Warrior, whose head has taken quite a beating here. Whoa! Running crossbody from Rick the Model Martel. Martel quickly countered by Ultimate Warrior. Martel quickly counters Ultimate Warrior. Gets a hold of him. Has him up for the long vertical suplex again. Rick Martel coming back here. This match has run long. No pin, no tap out so far. Ultimate Warrior misses with the charging attack, catches a glancing knee to the back from Rick Martel. A jab. Warrior against the ropes. Martel with a back suplex on the Ultimate Warrior, and he is starting to look a little bit tired. Might want to think about tagging in Tito Santana. Warrior quickly takes him down with a leg sweep, rounds up Rick Martel. Martel with a jawbreaker and a double axe handle to the Ultimate Warrior. And that one might have sealed the deal. There's an elbow across the chest from Rick Martel. Martel whips the Warrior to the whoop. There we go. He found his way out of the corner again. Martel goes for the ride, quickly escapes the other team's corner kick, a chop, a series of shots to the Ultimate. Look at this. Rick Martel absolutely opening up, on fire, takes down the Ultimate Warrior with a brutal series of blows. Up, absolutely amazing. Rick Martel throwing hands here, and it gets crucial. Here we go. It's a submission attempt. Warrior finds his way out quick. Counters. Gets back up on his feet. Gets a hold of Rick Martel. Dragon sweeper center ring. Shoves him away. Martel tosses him back to his team's corner. Warrior declines the offer. Makes a counter proposal. Martel on the other side of town now. Ultimate Warrior, look at this. Staring daggers into the eyes of Rick Martel. Waiting for him to move even the slightest muscle. And Ultimate Warrior is going to be waiting for it. And here it is. Warrior gets him up over the shoulders. Fireman's carry into a military press drop, and down goes Rick Martel. The Ultimate Warrior with a method to his madness. It certainly seems to be working. Martel snaps the arm on the Warrior. Warrior counters with the right. Martel pitched to the far corner, a clothesline from Ultimate Warrior. Martel back up on his feet. Gets a hold of the Warrior. Trying to hold him steady, no good. Warrior pitches him halfway across the ring. The Ultimate Warrior drags Martel center, follows up with a stomp to the midsection. A crossbody across the back of Rick Martel. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg, but too close to the ropes. Ultimate Warrior having to start again. Rick Martel, motionless. Might be ripe for the pickings. Martel counters with an elbow, gets back up. Gets a hold of the Warrior, has him. Ultimate Warrior says, no you don't. Elbows across the head, and up he goes one more time. Military press slam to Rick Martel. The Ultimate Warrior with a shoulder claw on Rick the Model Martel. He's gone. That's it. Ultimate Warrior taking a moment here to collect himself. Follows it up with a stomp to Martel, who probably done here. Rebound off the rope. Oh! And there's the crossbody splash. And that's probably the end right here. 1, 2, 3. It most certainly is the Blade Runners with a bell buzzer beater. Wow.
Here's the time, 18 minutes and 20 seconds. Here's your winners, the Blade Runners.
Big time kudos to the Ultimate Warrior and Stinger for saving us all from a time limit draw with a little less than a minute and a half to go. How about this? And against Strikeforce, Rick Martel and Tito Santana. That was really impressive. What a tag team match. A most impressive feat, 18 minutes and 20 seconds. Tito Santana and Rick Martel could not outlast the Ultimate Warrior and Sting, the Blade Runners. That concludes the first half of tonight's RWL race. We will return with the second half right after this.